Thanks everybody for coming. Nice to have a full house. Poets love this. Doesn't happen very often. Okay, so I will start with because Lucy referred to it, which is Heraclitus, and I was thinking about this idea of his of you can't step in the same river twice, or at least that's the fragment that we have. That's come down to us, and perhaps I haven't translated it correctly, but it's pretty close to that meaning. And so I was thinking about not stepping in the same river twice and what that means to us in a lifetime. So Heraclitus. If you step into the stream now and return an hour later, everything will be different. Step into this tea-steeped water with a few strands of grass, turned September blonde, between the person you are to the person you will be after you step out of this stream, after you've wiped your eyes, after you've had one child, then two, then maybe three, or none at all. You'll look up and find yourself studying the grand theories of clouds, one construed as a woman with her arms outstretched, another as a burning house. If you step into this stream, the one outside the library, not very deep, with a shopping cart rusting on its side, you'll feel it around your ankles. Step into the stream when you're 15, lose one of your running shoes, a red one, and climb up the bank, damp, shivering, and you'll be 63. Go back down to the stream to get the shoe, and you'll be 37. If you step into the stream now, if you step into the stream, if you step, if you return, if you step, if you return an hour later, you can wrap dusk around your shoulders. You might hear someone tinkering with piano keys, trying to plink a tune. Let yourself be stream. Let yourself be where it comes from and where it's going. Let yourself be nothing but a smear of traffic lights, glossed ruby, glossed green on the surface. There is a stream outside our little library in Antigonish, and there are auction shopping carts in it. So, Phil, that's not a very good place for you. There's a lamp right there.
Maybe.
Is there another spot? Another chair, perhaps?
I think we fixed the problem.
Okay, good. Anybody here lift weights? Any of you lift weights? Oh, wait a minute. Do anybody deadlift? Do you do deadlifts? No? No? No, absolutely not. Okay. And what do you lift?
I think my max deadlift when I last did was 165.
Oh, good for you. Excellent. It's a lot of weight. That's like more than, I'm sure it's more than what you weigh. You know, it's like, it's a time when people say, so deadlift, how much do you lift? And I said, well, it's embarrassing, don't ask me that. But it's incredible, good for you. Okay, so this is a poem, when I get to the page, it's called Deadlift. And what I was thinking of, so I had a lovely launch of this book in Antigonish, and the person, so I asked friends of mine to read the poems, and I work out with somebody, and I thought, she doesn't like reading, you know, she probably won't want to read this poem, but she is the one to read the poem, because I deadlift with her. And so she asked me all sorts of questions about it. She said, what do you mean by the butter and eggs in the ditch? And I said, well, the wildflowers. And she said, oh, okay, that helps. What do you mean by, so it was really a lovely kind of thing that we went through before she read the poem. And she said, but why, deadlifts? And I said, it's because there's so much weight. And when you hear people's stories and the pain of some of those stories, it's like, for me, what it is to deadlift. I think that's the way that I will put it. Wide stance, arms locked, deep breath, grip the bar, take it from the floor, heavy plates on both sides. You know the story, you don't know it. Lift it above your knees, higher, the enormity of that weight. Hold the woman you don't know, hold her son's distance. blue hyphens of water glimpsed in passing. Hold the man telling the woman about another woman she doesn't want to hear. Turn sails of the poplars, teenager at the side of the road tying his shoe, 6 or 7 junked cars in a row, open-mouthed. The woman who knows the man won't make her any promises, her anger, a flare of wild roses, butter and eggs, a few beer cans crushed, ditched, and the complex arrangement of the white-throated sparrow's sweet Canada, Canada, Canada. Lock it in, haunt and piercing, let it go. And I bet you do that. I bet you lock it in when you're up to the top and then you lock it in. Well, I think that's great that you do that. I wanted to write a poem that's a winter poem but didn't have the word snow in it. I have never read this poem out loud to anybody, and so don't laugh if I get some of the words wrong. Some of the words are foreign words to me, and so I don't know exactly how they're pronounced. But I thought, since it's winter, I think we need this poem. Cloud Boat. An orchard that's abandoned any idea of orchard. Here, 3 women, blue foot caves of their tracks. Snaw, Old English, sneo, or snore. Sneati from Sanskrit. You could say storm lost, but it's only a slope they wade, all gradual. Trucks muffled on the highway, drone of gears, cladded, gone wild, wildered, each mottled apple with its cap, feathered millinery. Slow-bodied women, year added to year as they step, lift, schnee, heaps of dirty laundry by the road. A distant plow scrapes past, luxury of woolly-topped handrail, boots sunk down and down to the unseen footbridge made of toothpicks. No crossing to the far Snagus, pillowed Sneeg. Where is the ferryman, the boat of cloud? Trees bow for selfies of laden branches in mirror water. Cuts through the heavy sweet, this black brook, cleaving with its blade, a long oblivion, a dream of white and white and white, the extravagance. My friend Tanya got me into looking up the etymology of words in a way that, I'd never done before. And so snow is just such a remarkable word, and where it came from, and the various snaw, sneo, snore, sneati, snagus, it's just brilliant. If only we could use those words in conversation. There's the far snagus over there. Anyway, yes, and so another winter poem, and it's to do with a man. I saw a man he just fell on the ice on Church Street in Antigonish, and I thought, oh my God, I better get out of the car and help him. And another woman stopped in her truck, and she got out, and it's a funny thing with ice. I've got my readers on, so the floor looks a little funny, but there they were, it was kind of like this kind of thing going on between them. It was really kind of lovely. And I thought, what did he see down there? What as he was down, what did he see? And so I imagined this. Man fallen. A man throws out his arms, topples on cut crystal. He crawls, can't make sense of his knees, gazes into a crack, edge of shiny wrapper, milk foam and grit. 100 billion-year-old glints in a black, black realm. He tries again. A woman parks her Silverado, one wheel high on a snowbank, slams the door and helps him up, holds him as if they're newly married. It's gone, whatever he saw, galaxy on galaxy, opening one into the other, even the farthest nebulae, stung bright. Her step, his step, a sort of waltz on an icy sidewalk, shiny wrapper, foam, grit, the 100 billion-year-old sparkles in the blacker realm to which they once belonged. Winter. Winter's really a wonderful season, as long as you don't have to shovel all that snow. Oh, but even if you do, it's really wonderful. Do any of you snowshoe or cross-country ski or snowshoe?
I ski.
You ski? Oh, okay. Anybody else? Yes. Oh, yes. I know you do. And anyone else? No? No. How you doing?
Yeah, snowshoe.
Oh, you do? Do you have the nice new snowshoes that don't make it difficult for you when you're trying to get through? Yeah. Yeah. I saw something at UBC in the gallery there, and it was a collection of drawings by a man called Santiago Ramon y Cajal. And Santiago Ramon y Cajal was the term they used then was, it was in the 1800s, was a histologist. So, but he was actually a doctor of anatomy. And he was very interested in the brain at a time when not everything was known about the brain. So when he was doing his research into the brain, the word neuron wasn't even coined. And he thought, just from what he could see, so he was looking at the brains of children, the brains of mice, the brains of cats, the brains of, people generally. And he thought perhaps it is the case that it's not a network of nerve cells. They had thought this in the past, that it was all connected. And his thought was, no, they can't be all connected. They must be separate. And yet, how did messages pass from one nerve cell to another nerve cell? So it was a really radical idea that he came up with, which was that there had to be a gap, and that there, in what we now know as the synaptic cleft, and that the messages had to cross from one nerve cell to another. So he was ahead of his time, but also he was like a scientist and an artist, because his artistry is just extraordinary. So you sort of think of things that you learn at King's, which those of you who go to King's, the integration of, the disciplines, and he really embodied that. So each of the poems that I'll read to you is named after one of his drawings, but I'm speaking about somebody who's been diagnosed with an illness. So I will read you glial cells of the cerebral cortex of a child. Her drawing of a pumpkin flutters in her hand as she runs to her mother, astrocytes pinwheeling in her brain, tiniest of tumbleweeds, maybe already inviting the strangeness inside. See how she opens the door of the little house, laughing. Too small for an adult, just right for a 4-year-old. Secret world. Bright hair falls across her face when the barrette is loose. A red jacket with a zipper that always catches. Flushed cheeks, October. And this is called Sensory Pathways Within the Spinal Cord. The young woman smiles at the guests, disappears into the light-striped corridor, manages to reach the kitchen. Champagne glasses fall from the silver tray, almost out of hearing, tumble, shatter. Can she keep her balance long enough to sweep up the pieces? Think of what just happened to the neurons in the spinal cord, in the dorsal root ganglion. A wedding party. They want the server to return with the drink order. They clamor. Her tray appears, levitating, rising out of the golden brown pond water. Shimmer bright cloud, not a tray. Here is a possible diagnosis. Open back speeches and pastel bouquets, scented rose pink, curl-lipped evening. Someone beckons from a linen-covered table, her pale arm. A delicate message passes imperfectly to the brain. When I was about 16, I fell in love with this very old story. And I really didn't know what I was getting into. And it's the story of Gilgamesh and Enkidu. And have you read it? First year Kings.
First book you read.
First book. Did you like it?
I loved it.
Did you? Yes? Nodding? Yeah? Yeah. Everybody read it? Everybody read it. I loved it because there are things that you can do with that story, and I sort of saw those two and reimagined them. And I sort of saw them as two men who loved each other. And I don't know if that was actually the case. The story, there's variations on this story. There's one story, another story, then, there's another tablet with another story. So variations on a theme, but we do know about Enkidu, the wild man, and we know about Gilgamesh, the king, and some other things we know about. I love the fact that there's a dog in here. When do you ever get to read poetry and there's a dog? So I'm going to read to you from I Take You, which is a series of poems from Enkidu's point of view. So this is called Forest. And so what Enkidu does with, you probably know it better than I do. What Enkidu does with Gilgamesh is that they go to the forest. Now I'm blanking on the name of the forest, but they go to the forest and don't they kill Humbaba? Gilgamesh kills Humbaba. Right, that's what it is. I shouldn't be up here. One of you should be up here. So this is from that series, Forest. And so Enkidu is speaking. Who forbids us? No one. But I'm afraid. Inside fear is a knuckle-hard knot where I've never gone. We're at the border, unseen line of trespass, tangled alders, leaf on leaf, ridged bark and root, fretwork fern, coppery. Here I'll lose myself. I said I'd go with him. I wouldn't leave. When he swings his axe, I'm not Enkidu. I'm the kerf he makes in the trunk. Sway and crackling, thud, drawn out, deafening. He said I made him feel like a god. I'm myself and I'm not the felled tree, only the wound, but you know this. Open the box of your life. The slat step clatter is the wound. I could say my arm, Enkidu's, was lanced wrist to shoulder. I could say what happened. It only matters to the story. Gilgamesh killed Humbaba and saved me. You saved yourself, child in a blind room, moonless middle of night, no breadcrumbs. As if you were me, I you. Enkidu, fleet, foregone in tree shadow, pine needles crisscrossed on the ground, printed golden brown, sticky on bare feet. You can escape the story, not the wound. And so there's a whole section on Enkidu, and then another series of poems later in the book are from Gilgamesh's point of view. And since it's winter, I'll read this is after he's lost Enkidu. And he does everything under the sun to get Enkidu back. And it's like our realization when we lose somebody, that, there's no getting that person back. I mean, he goes to the ends of the earth. He gets the flower of immortality. Oh, I shouldn't give the details because I might get them wrong among all of you who are experts on this. Does he get the flower of immortality? I think he does. And then I think what happens is that the snake takes that flower of immortality. Yes, not it good. And so he does everything only to find, I feel, that there's real poignancy in this because he learns he's a human being. And that's what I love about this story, is that this king who has everything in the world, thinks he can get everything in the world, doesn't get it all and loses. And so this is called Winter, and then I'll read The Hut. And if there's time, I think I'm out of time, but I'll read Where You Are Now. So all from this series of I Can't Take You, and this is Gilgamesh speaking. Where did you go? By a freeze-bright river, I hunch over a coyote's raw heart, liver, my smeared mouth. Here, under called trees, white basketed finger bones of ice. Am I you? Snow, 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 red flourishes traced in a drift, unknown language, from my own hands, blood. Or I could be in a room filling up with whiteness, no river, no coyote. Are you me? Oh, I'm torn open. Snow, 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 snow. Do you hear it? The faraway falling. At night when I lie down, flashing lions, mountains, I travel that roaring to the sun's end, Dapple Garden. Evening my brain picnics on stories. I tell myself it's a quest. It's not a quest, it's grief. It has landscapes, water, an island, a hut. Haven't you opened the door of the hut hundreds of times, wanting to know? There's no answer. I found the flower, nearly crushed it, honey on its petals, clustered together in a bee-sized dome. I could say I did it for you, Enkidu. I tried to bring you back. Dream bloom, your face. I lost you. I woke afraid. Maybe you're the hut, and I'm the door. Not even a table when I go inside. Let's say the netherworld is the middle of the night, when I can't stop myself going into the hut. I burn it. I set myself on fire, burning it. Fire, then cold water. I'm still here. There's no end to you. Thigh soft night sloped behind trees. Hoot owl. If I wait long enough, I'll catch a glimpse. Should I stop? Should I read one more and stop? Would you like me to do that? Or I could read a couple more and stop? Couple more. Okay, couple more. I'll read Departure. So I have a real fondness for bees. And do any of you take care of bees? Have any of you looked after any of you beekeepers? Yes? No?
Yeah,
Yes.
my dad does.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And where? Whereabouts?
In Kingston.
In Kingston, okay. Huh. I was working at, so I'm an adjunct at St. FX, and they used to give me an office, and that was nice. And once I saw, I'm pretty sure it was bees, but anyway, I think it was bees swarming, and I was thinking about the swarm and thinking about what was being communicated within that swarm. And so this is called Departure. We leave as one clustered hum, jostle of passengers. Think of us departing through frosted doors into a life that lies beyond, that frisson of what can't be seen, what's next. Here we pause together, alert for the next instruction, waiting. We drift between the tines of a cherry's branches, tuning it, clear, sweet, once. Slipped the slung warmth of each other, uncertainty's buzz, poised, massed into quiver, chit-chat of one body against another, laddering under, over. This is how we speak. This is how we cling, unhived, undone, the was, the went, unkiltered, shuddered into the future. We dream a many-chambered edifice of wax, honey fragrant, rich with our queen's babbled brood, thousands a day. She is us, or she was. The whole thing's impossible without her. We swarm sharp, tanged bark, blossoms fisted tight, lashes of rain to come. A few hours, that's all. And so I'll end with this one. And so this began as a sort of challenge to myself, and then it became something more serious. And because I realized, oh, I have no idea what courage is. And I was going to do, wisdom is a hinge, forgiveness is a pair of scissors. And don't ask me how I came up with it, I don't know. And courage. So I'm most interested in courage. I want to know what that is. And so courage is an ordinary thing. Courage is a chair. And I thought all of you are sitting, well, some of you are sitting on the floor, but some of you are sitting on chairs. But do we really think about what courage involves and what it means? What is it? And I have a feeling courage is not a noun, but a verb. But anyway, it had to be something for this poem. So courage is a chair. The chair is always there. Whatever the story of your life, the chair accepts your version of events. You take your place. Take the places of others who have been and are not. Take the place and have the place taken from you. You might tell the truth or not tell the truth and let it enter your body as a lie that lives inside the truth, or the truth that lives inside a lie, which could singe your skin and stop your heart if you're buckled to the chair. But this is a perversion of the chair's purpose. The chair doesn't judge. You might be sitting in a chair almost asleep, high chair, swing chair, waiting for the spoon, the straw, waiting for the buzzer, the bell, the minute hand to form an alliance with the hour hand, waiting for the seat at the back, the seat at the front, the seat no one wants, waiting for the spoon, the straw. The chair offers itself. It bears your weight. It bears no weight. It lifts you so you can look down from above. You'll see cities, labyrinths of roads, cars moving on the roads, and in the distance, something flashing, a train. What was so large that is now so small? So thank you so much for listening in the way that you listened, so intently and graciously. So thanks for that. And, sorry.